Good morning. It's January 26th, 2024. It's a Thursday. Just drew a blank. I was going to roll out with something and just went right out of my head. I apologize. At some point during the drive, I've got to make a decision. As of right now, my plan is to go my normal way, but I got an extremely late start today. I always feel like I'm saying that. I don't know if I have to get up earlier, but I thought things were moving very swiftly today. I got up, got all my stuff done. I was like, I don't know. I keep seeming to lose time, but I am about 15 minutes later than I would like to be right now, and I don't know where the time went. Oh well. So we're gonna try a couple of things here. It looks like McDonald's open, so we're gonna try that. In some of the previous, yeah, they're definitely open. Some of the previous videos talked about. I have to. I think I was going to touch on that. It wasn't what I had in mind. Give me one moment. It has to do with YouTubers. Damned YouTubers. Give me a moment.
Good morning. Welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you today?
Large black coffee, please.
All right. Please pull the second window, honey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, honey.
Oh.
It's on me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Well, that was nice. So, that sounds not annoying. I don't know if I've covered this in any of the previous videos. Side note, that annoying noise that the car makes because your seatbelt's not on, I understand. I understand that it's an alarm, it's a law, you have to wear your seatbelts, and you should because of safety reasons. But why there is no alarm when you're driving down the street and you have your parking brake on is beyond me. That seems so much more dangerous. But anyway. So, YouTubers. Dirty YouTubers. No, so people who do this for a living, like I'm doing this as a hobby, and I'm starting to realize some of the issues you can run into. There's the daily pressure. Like, I don't have the same daily pressure of coming up with new content that your typical YouTuber does, because I openly admit that, like, there was nothing going into this. There were some vague ideas of stories. I talked yesterday, or Tuesday, today's Thursday, I don't do a video usually on Wednesdays. I talked on Tuesday about possibly doing some, like, joke stuff. We talked about, like, mini segments of D&D. The thing I talked about on Tuesday was, do a series of things like guests. Like, I'm old now, so a lot of things have happened to me, so I was going to do like little segments of I'll list 3 things, either about me or things I've done or things that have happened to me. 2 of them will be true, 1 of them will be a lie. I actually think that would be a lot of fun. I didn't prep any for today, but I remember like at least 7 of things that have ever happened to me, so I could do at least 2. But regular YouTubers that do this as a career, like their livelihood depends on this, that has got to be a lot of pressure, because like just in the little bit of fiddling around I've done, there's and I do the absolute minimum work. I do very little editing to my videos. I don't put in the little things that make them pop out, sound effects, little breaks, text over here. I haven't put any of the pictures up here yet. Just recording it, getting it onto the computer, like not even using any software. Like I've mentioned, I'm going to try to dig around with DaVinci Resolve, see how robust that is now that I've got plenty of content to play with. But even the process of moving the videos to the computer, and then the sudden realization that very quickly I'm going to run out of space. And I see these like real big YouTubers, like guys that are putting out content every day, like actual content where they have to prep copy. They've got multiple, like they've got teams, they've got a cameraman. Like that's some insane stuff. Like I couldn't, like as a hobby, I don't think if it's a serious hobby, I don't know that it would be sustainable. Like the only thing I have going for me is I've got about 4 hours a day where I can monologue at length. All the rest of it, it's brutal. Just spending the time moving the files, renaming them, trying to organize them after the fact. I've only been doing this since around Christmas, I guess, of last year. So I don't know if I have a full month under my belt for the whole thing. And I realize that if you're a full-time YouTuber, that is a career. That is an that would definitely be like, I have to imagine it's at least an 8-hour job, 8-hour day job. Even if you're only doing an hour, because there's the prepping, and if you're doing an actual YouTube channel, like properly edited and things like that, you're not doing what I'm doing, which is just monologuing in your spare time. You're putting together content. You're doing takes. You're splicing it together. You're putting you're putting, if you're like one of the higher, well, not necessarily higher end channel, but if you want it to really fit together nicely, a lot of them will use whether it's generic background music, but there'll be a wash of sound in the background to give it a continuity, kind of like one of those things you do in art. Like let's say you have let's say you're doing a comic book and you've got all these different aspects on the page, and you want to bring it together. What you'll do is sometimes you'll just do a wash over the whole thing of a specific color, like a dark blue, and then all of a sudden everything doesn't clash anymore. It all kind of goes together because you've put a wash over the whole page. I think if you have a consistent sound, I've noticed that when I watch other channels, there's a lot to do with sound. I mean, some of it's probably involuntary, like certain people's where they work, their studios have a certain sound to them. There's a certain ambient background din, but sometimes they also put music in it. So anyway, what I'm saying is a lot of people that do these YouTube channels, and some of them run multiple YouTube channels. I know of at least one team of guys that runs multiple channels. I think they're a pretty small group, but they run two would seem divergent channels. I don't watch one of their channels, so I don't know how much content they put on that, but the point is their PC parts channel, like there's a lot of time. Oh no, there's a lot of time. What's the temperature outside? Okay. There's a lot of time spent on that. So again, it's editing, lights, copy. Not to mention some of these stations, like the one I'm mentioning now, there's relationships and like a lot of things that happen behind the camera, like interpersonal relationships with businesses and other content creators. There's going to these places where corporate people present, like I want to say an expo. You know what I mean if I say an expo, but yeah, going to those types of events, reporting back, and then when you're when you're generating that much content, I have to imagine that a lot of it ends up on the cutting room floor. So there has to be, at that point, there's probably hours of audio and video that like never even make the cut. So it's really like just from like putting my little toe into the water, I realized that this platform, if you want to make it, there's a lot of stuff. Like besides the time I've already touched on, it's got to be expensive. I'm lucky. I have some equipment. I have some equipment to work with. I have I'm using my phone to record. I have a computer at home that I can move the stuff onto. But that in and of itself is an investment. Like you're going to have to, if you're doing a channel like this, not like this. If you're doing a channel on YouTube, you have to think about all those things. What are you going to do for storage? How do you keep the content fresh? I can't imagine the amount of like some of it. Some people have like scammed the algorithm. Like there's those junk channels where they just keep recycling the same content, and it's just nonsense. But it's clickbaity, and people just fall for it. And like just mass production of crap content, but it's bright and visually flary. I'm not talking about that. Although that is a cottage business too. They make lots of money with their content, but they have a standard model, and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. But the people who make actual content, digestible, like adding to the, whether they're doing hardware reviews, whether it's cooking, like a pro home cook, or people who have skills where they do arts and crafts, or dioramas, like all that kind of stuff. Like there's just tons and tons of time and effort and skills that go into doing that. And then there's the background of the, like I said, the infrastructure, what you need in place in order to make that happen. I can't imagine dedicating that kind of time to it. Like I said, I wouldn't even be making a YouTube channel if I didn't have 4 hours a day of free time to just sit in front of the camera and ramble on at length about whatever it is I feel like talking about. Like just the pressure of trying to actually figure out what the structure is going to be is tough, which means I don't have any of those things. I don't have the ability to review hardware. I'm not a great cook. I'm not artsy and crafty. I don't have the time for that. I know a couple of dirty limericks, but just not really what I want to do on a YouTube channel. And after I do two, there's nothing left. So anyway, that went on a little longer than I thought it would, and there's a couple of horses in there I beat to death. Sorry, horses. But I just wanted to mention that, like, in doing this, I realized that people who do it and put pretty constant content out there, it's impressive. It's impressive that you're able to do that, especially when, like, the people who run relatively tight channels. I mean, I would assume at some point they built their channel. It didn't just start like that, and I would assume they hired a team, but still, it doesn't matter. It's like then you still have to work to, like, you're paying those people. So it's it's a whole thing. Why did she give me free coffee? Is it because I'm a regular? Is it because I'm wearing a tie? Is it bad coffee? Did she screw up really bad? Let's find out. While I'm talking to you, I'm opening my coffee cup with my, not this hand, the other one. That's, let's just call it my right hand. hints of dirty ashtray and burnt toast. It actually does smell different today. I can't identify it. Like, is that ham? So that right there was the place where I had to make the decision as to whether or not, or at least the first place where I had to make the decision or not as to whether I am going to continue on the path that I have chosen or get onto the highways, because no matter how clear the roads are, I'm going to be cutting it close today, and I don't know why. I really can't identify what this coffee smells like. It's definitely not, I mean, it probably smells like coffee, but there's something there, like, you know how like flavored creamers, like French vanilla or like Christmas flavored coffee, have that odd aroma. Gym sock? It's taking a really long time for the liquid to... What's going on here? It's pretty full. I completely forgot. A few days ago I was talking about the preponderance of vanity plates up in the sticks as opposed to what I see in the city. And I meant to, as I was doing the drive home, point out all the vanity plates, and I didn't do it. I don't know if that's because I've gotten so used to them. I saw them, but it didn't trigger the memory that I was supposed to point them out, or if I'm just a big fat liar and on my way home I didn't see any vanity plates. I'm going to try to remember today. So I'm already committing to tasks. Now I have to do an afternoon video. Yeah, it tastes like you know what it is? It's weak. That's what's happening. I'm barely smelling coffee. It looked dark when I opened the cup, but it is dark out. I guess my biggest fear, and I think I've mentioned this before, is like on a long enough timeline, every TV show, everything you watch eventually has if it doesn't end, it will eventually have a musical episode. And I fear the day that we have a musical episode. Doesn't taste bad, but it tastes weak today. Bothers me that it was free. It's gonna eat away at me. That's not bad. It's probably not even as weak as I'm saying. Overanalyzing my coffee. Big part of my day. So the lighting, the way they do the hash across the eyes, it's for dramatic effect. It signifies. I'm kidding. There's a movie. You know what? I'm gonna hold that thought because we're coming up to the 20-minute mark, and like I said, I want to keep these as separate entities. So in an effort to do that, I am not going to start that story because that's going to be longer than a minute, and I've got just over a minute left till the end, and I don't want to be rushed through the story. But I'll give you a teaser. It's about a movie I like, and it's called In the Mouth of Madness. So stay tuned for section number 2 of the Thursday morning drive to work, where I briefly talk about In the Mouth of Madness by some guy. I guess I should do the sign off now instead of like putting the dead silence here, that way we can skip ahead. So I'm sorry I wasted some time there, but have a wonderful day. Good morning. This is part 2 of the Thursday Drive to Work 2023, January 25th. First segment, I rambled on endlessly about YouTubers, things I know absolutely nothing about, all guesswork, but it sounded convincing. At the end of the segment, I talked about the light was hitting my eyes in a certain way from the rear view mirror, and it reminded me of hash lighting. So I wanted to talk briefly about a movie I really like called In the Mouth of Madness. It's a very, what is that guy's name? He came up with the whole Cthulhu mythos. I can't believe I can't think of his name. Bob. Might have been Bob. Something with an R. That might have been his name. So anyway, In the Mouth of Madness, it's this guy. It's about an author who writes a book. It's got like a very. They came up with a really good author name, like I think it was Sutter Kane. Sutter Kane is the name of the author. So he writes a series of books. He goes missing, and everyone thinks it's a publicity stunt. The publishing company hires a private detective to go find Sutter Kane, and it's like, you know, it's kind of a goes into madness. Very. I really wish I could remember that guy's name. Let's say Orwellian, even though it's completely wrong. That's not the word I'm looking for. Oh my God. I hate early morning. Like, words elude me all the time, but in the morning it's worse. I have an entire RPG at home based on the Cthulhu mythos, and it's called. Does the name start with an N? I'll think of it later. So anyway, I like the movie. It's you know, it depends on what you like, whether or not you'll like the movie or not. It's got the same guy in it as the same main character as the main character in Event Horizon. He's in both movies, and there's actually some similarities to the movies. But what I was on about with the lighting on my eyes is I was watching, and I know my memory is going to exaggerate this even more, but at the time it was really funny. So you watch it with the director's commentary, and at the beginning there's this, they start talking about, like, he's sitting in the padded cell, and there's blue light, and they put a blue gel over the lighting outside the windows to make it appear as though it's nighttime. And then there's this part where they push a cart up to something, and there's this hash lighting across it, which causes this dramatic effect. And I'm watching the commentary on this horror movie, and it just, like, it seemed like they were going on endlessly, just like everybody they invited to show up didn't show up. The only people that showed up were the lighting crew and the key grips, and all they talked about was how they lit this scene and how they lit that scene. Like, what the heck is this? I thought at the time, and even now, I think it's very, very funny, how banal, how like like it's this horror movie, and you're looking for some insights, and they're just talking about how they lit every scene. Good times, good times. Well, I filled all of 3 minutes. There are other movies where I've watched the commentary. I'm still trying to think of that word. The guy's name, and you just put Ian at the end of it. Jeez Louise. M? His name starts with an M? I can see him. He's like this tall, thin guy. How bizarre. Like you're sitting there like if you don't know the name like that, I'd be amazed. But you're Googling it and you're like, oh yeah, like why can't he think of that? Why can't he think of that of all people? Jeez. Lovecraftian. Jeez Louise. That was it. Thanks, guys. You just vibed it right at me. Or you were shouting at the screen so loud that I heard it, so thank you. But yeah, I'm all about Lovecraftian nightmares. I think when it comes to coffee places, like what you just saw there, I don't know that would ever happen at a Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe it would, and maybe they would get fired for doing it. Who knows? But they're really friendly people at the McDonald's. They've been the same people working the registers and stuff like that, I think, since I've been here, and I've been here for, geez, a good 7 to 10 minutes. So here's where I have another opportunity to turn. I'm heavily contemplating. I'm gonna risk it. I think I can make it. I have faith. Faith. Whenever I meet people who have names, like first and last names, that start with the same letter, I have this terrible fear that like I'm just an NPC in their story, and they're the protagonist. Because a lot of, even though it's not spelled the same way, but like Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, like all these people with the same consonant sound at the beginning of their first and last names. Barry Bostwick. Going in for more coffee. Looks like segment number 2 is going to be like a real downslide from segment number 1. It started off with a lot of steam, but really took a nosedive after that Lovecraftian story. We had snow yesterday. It didn't last long. It started to pile up, but then it started to rain and it all went away. I'm not a fan of not a big fan of a little bit of snow. I'm all about a lot of snow. It's I know it's a pain in the ass for most people. Like I wouldn't mind a completely snowless winter. I can just end it right there. I wouldn't mind a completely snowless winter. But what I would like, I do like snow, but just like my shopping trips, I like it in bulk. Like I want a minimum, like if it's going to snow, I want a minimum of 2 feet. Like I want the roads shut down. I want the day off. I want to be easily able to build igloos without having to, scour the land for enough snow. Not that I'm currently in physical condition to do that. I'm just saying that's my preference. If it's going to snow, like, be serious. No dicking around. Give me some snow. I think I just lost my G rating again. Doing. I'm going to get away from him. Sorry for the again, another awkward silence. I'm literally thinking about things that don't matter. Like, I'm still trying to figure out where did I lose the time this morning, and I don't know. I reorganized my kitchen yesterday. If you remember, I was rambling at length about not having enough space, specifically counter space, but that's not what I worked on. I worked on the cabinets. I don't know if everyone is like this, but where's the... we have as of yesterday, we had one cabinet in our kitchen that's full of those cups you collect. Like I think I was mentioning this before. You get them at the movie theater, you get them at Sesame Place, and cups and bowls, and then there's all the plasticware from when the kid's young. So there's these sippy cups, cups with straws, various thermoses, and just plastic cups, metal thermoses, plastic thermoses, clear bottles, a bunch of sports drinks that had sports caps or fancy little animal heads that we thought were worth keeping. So that fills an entire cabinet, and I think it's a waste of space because none of that stuff gets any love. Like, there's like 1 or 2 cups in there that maybe get love. There's a couple in there that might get used if they were accessible, but because it's completely jam-packed, if you were to try to get anything like that, it would just be an avalanche of plastic. So yesterday I cleared out that cabinet and the 2 cabinets next to it. The cabinets next to it had various snacky things. Like, there was candies up the top shelf. I've got a lot of my recipe books, things like that, but there's mints and candies and snacks and teas and things like that. So I sorted out all 3 cabinets, got rid of all that excess plastic, condensed some things down. I had bought some more canisters lately. You're going to hear me talk a lot about containers and canisters because that's what I'm currently obsessed with. Buying stuff and putting it into resealable, clear containers, because the cardboard and the stuff, it's just like you're inviting it to go bad. And like if you've ever had a moth problem that's gotten into your pantry, then you'll know why I'm like all of a sudden all about the airtight canisters. So anyway, so I've got cereals and cereal containers. Like I rearranged the shelves so that they're the right height, and it's pretty nice. Now I have lots of space and threw out a lot of stuff. That's the other thing. When you have the equivalent of junk drawers for food and cups and things like that. So those were all cups over there. There was no food, but in the snack, like there's stuff you get. Like sometimes you'll get stuff for Christmas, and it's good stuff. Like candy. Like there's a bag of Nerds, like a big plastic bag full of Nerds. It expired over 2 years ago, but like it just sits in the candy drawer or cabinet because it's candy, but nobody eats that. Like, and of course, when you go to try to throw it away, no, it's still good. Like that, I eat those. No, you don't. It's been sitting there for 2+ years and it's never been opened. Like, you can have it. Like it, I know for a fact that stuff doesn't go bad, but I want it out of that cabinet because it's not getting eaten up there. Put it somewhere where it'll get eaten. Throw it under your bed. Something will eat it. That's me talking to my wife. Yeah, I organized that, put cereal in cereal containers, moved some of the pantry stuff to what used to be the plastic cup and thermos cupboard cabinet. So I did that yesterday. But the point is, having nothing to do with that, I talked about rearranging my kitchen and doing a, because I just don't feel like there's enough surface area, and there's not enough room. It's a big kitchen, but it's not laid out right. I don't have that good work triangle, if you know what I'm talking about, when you're cooking. Refrigerator, stove, sink thing going on. Cooktop. Like my cooktop and my wall oven are separate, so like it'd be more of a quadrilateral. If I could go perpendicular to orthogonal time. Anyway, the point is, I was looking at it, and I was looking at the layout, and one of the things I had thought was I could take the cooktop. Like I want to go with an induction cooktop. Currently, I've got electric elements. I wanted gas, but they're convincing me that the universe is convincing me that maybe induction is the way to go. And I've talked about that multiple times over the last few videos. Not in critical detail, but I have been doing cursory research, Googling it, and I think I'm picking up a lot of the information I need to make a choice on what kind of induction burner to get when I do go to make that decision. Anyway, point is, I was thinking I could move, like the wall oven has to stay where it is. It's a built-in fixture. That's probably always going to be where the wall oven is. Fortunately, it's a standard size. The old oven that's there is a standard size, so I could just replace that with a newer model. I know I talked before about like don't replace old appliances with new appliances because blah blah blah. This thing was broken when I moved in. I'm pretty sure the broiler doesn't work. I do what everybody else does. I got a bunch of sheet pans and things like that stuffed where the broiler is. I've never used the lower oven. The clock doesn't work. I could fix it. The thing's pretty beat. This one I wouldn't regret throwing out. Like I may have said the same thing about the dishwasher when I got rid of it, because it's, you know, they get old, they get that really beat look, but I hate the fact that new stuff doesn't work. On top of that, it's an old oven, but there is a difference. I need a convection oven. I hate just regular conventional ovens. It's good that it's electric, but it's I want an electric convection oven. I've had good experiences. They or even cooking, no hot spots, things like all the garbage they tell you it's true. I really do like convection wall oven, so I am going to replace that wall oven with a convection oven. The point is that it's built into the chimney structure of the house, so there's a bump out from the wall there, and my thought initially was, when I go to remodel the kitchen, to get those closer to the same spot, and to conserve space, give myself more counter space, because right now I used to have a small microwave in a little nook, so there's that wall where the double oven is, and also I have a chimney in my kitchen next to that small chimney they used for cooking, and then there's the double oven, and then the wall ends, and then there's a nook, there's a cabinet, there's a little piece of counter, which really isn't good for anything. We had a small microwave in there, which I've moved downstairs. Right now I'm using it as a coffee service area, so I've got a coffee machine there, I've got some bottled waters, I've got a bunch of K-cups behind the machine, and because it's a dual machine, it takes diesel and electric. No, it does K-cups, and it does a standard pot of coffee. Got it from our aunt at Christmas last year. We just hooked it up recently, and it's pretty good. I'll tell you the brand, but it's like one of the only ones they make like that right now, and it's very nice. Really like it. So anyway, my thought was, move the burner over there. Right now I've got a 30. Since it's a small kitchen, and since I really don't entertain that much, I was thinking of staying with the 30. I might go with the 32, whatever it is. I might go with a larger one. problem I have is it's not going to go there because, like, I did some measuring yesterday, and if I were to put the burners there and slide the refrigerator over, I would end up, so you got that wall, you got your double oven, then next to that you'd have like a little bit of wall, then you'd have your burners, then the refrigerator would slide this way, then the room turns. So what you end up with is like this blind corner. So you've got the same thing, you've got this nook. The only way that would kind of make sense is if you make a 45-degree cabinet for putting your like larger things in, like your mixers and things like that. But I don't know, I just like, in envisioning it would make it feel even smaller in there if I box that off. So that's not going to work. I can't put the now I could go the other way, possibly go the other way, like push the refrigerator. Why didn't I plan that out? Anyway, yeah, so that might work. I might be able to push the refrigerator against the stove. It wouldn't be in direct proximity. There would literally be a stone wall between the two, so you wouldn't have the issue with heat bleed over. So I could push the refrigerator against. Oh crap! I went over. Well, I'm going to sign off. I apologize for going over the 20-minute mark there. Have a wonderful day. Morning, Thursday, 25th of January, 2023, drive into work. This is segment number 3, and unfortunately I did what I said I wasn't going to do. I wasn't paying attention, and I'm unfortunately going to have to finish the thought in segment number 3. I was talking about, and like that, this is the thing, it's going to be really terrible. I'm going to finish the thought from segment number 2, and then there's going to be dead air again. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to push the refrigerator against the stove, and then I'll have to measure it out and see how that looks. That might be a better layout, and then have the counter behind me there. All right, so anyway, yeah, blew right through the 20-minute mark. How embarrassing. I could edit it down and you guys would never know, except for the fact that I'm talking about it. Son of a diddly. Oh well. So anyway, segment number 3, still a little dicey as to whether or not I'm going to make it to work on time. I've abandoned 2 options to take the highway. There's a third coming up right up here. Well, I say right up here, about 5-10 minutes up the road. It's a vanity plate in front of me. I'm torn as to whether or not I should read these. This one I'm not going to because it's not something clever. It's clearly someone's name. Very strange name too. Yeah, definitely not a clever little thing. But even when they are, like, I'm wondering, is it a bad idea to tell you someone's license plate? I don't know. Like, I know people tend to blur them. I don't know why. Are we all afraid that some psycho is going to see that and just for no reason hunt you down and get you because they saw your license plate and it's a sign that you got to be gotten? Or is it something more practical and I'm just an idiot and didn't think of it? Let me know in the comments. So do I have to set myself a little alarm? Do I have to have a little ding go off in the background so I don't do that thing where I bleed 2 segments together? It's actually literally the second time got away from me today. I'll have to check and see if there was any like if I just zoned out at all at any point, because I really didn't feel like that was 20 minutes. keep talking about remodeling my kitchen like it's something I'm about to do, but it's not. Like I am going to keep limping by with that kitchen until a lot of other projects get done and some money rolls in, because it's those kinds of remodels are expensive. What I'm doing downstairs, like the office remodel, that was easy. You're not dealing with replacing any fixtures and stuff like that. It's just just labor, some paint, some drywall, doing it all yourself. So the time, it takes longer to do it by yourself, and but that kind of a remodel is simple. I not for everybody. Like I had to put up light. Like it's one of those, like that room. Like you take it down to the brick and cinder block, and then you build it back up entirely, including outlets, lighting, things like that. I can do that. So it wasn't a hassle. A kitchen is a completely different story. One, I've done a kitchen remodel before. It took me way too long, and I was doing it while my wife was pregnant, and she wasn't really happy about that. And again, it's another room I literally took down to the brick and rebuilt it, and redid everything. There was like I said, if you take everything out, you all new appliances, redid the walls, wired everything, put in the light fixtures, cabinets, flooring, like the whole nine, absolutely everything. Rerouted the radiators. It was almost like we were building it from scratch. Other than the actual exterior walls, we did. So anyway, that's a project, and I was doing that while I had a job, so it took me an embarrassingly long time to get that completed. It was really nice. I miss my kitchen. All that stuff I talked about, I had there, like nice marble countertops, convection oven, microwave on top, blah blah blah. Like I miss my kitchen. But yeah, so I'm not looking forward to doing that here, because of all the added expense, appliances. I've got a dishwasher now, but there's a lot of stuff I can't reuse. I can't reuse the oven, I can't reuse the range, can't reuse the refrigerator. There's probably going to be a lot of electrical work that needs to be done. To do it the way I want to do it, there's going to need some, besides just installing a sink, there's going to be some additional plumbing that has to be done. I desperately need a downdraft. Depending on where I put the range top, I'm going to need either a downdraft or just a ventilation system, because I'm constantly smoking out the house. Just with certain foods I make, it just generates a lot of smoke, and because the house is not very well insulated, air escapes from everywhere. So like the whole house, especially the upstairs bedroom areas, will smell like whatever I cooked that night, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but usually it is. So I have no idea what I was just talking about. Kitchen. Oh yeah, so yeah, a kitchen remodel is much different than an office remodel. The party room, the part of it that I'm remodeling right now, which is taking forever, again, it's just light electrical, mostly putting up drywall. Like I've already done most of the demo that needed to be done, so now it's just drywall, spackle, paint, trim. That's pretty much it. So that's easy. Kitchen, not as easy. Aziz, light. Really warming up to this free coffee. Really wondering why I got it for free. It's going to bother me. I'm going to hit some buttons here. Yeah, I better not. Every time I hit a button, the phone stops recording. I was watching a mini documentary on crime yesterday. That was interesting. Specifically gun running and things like that. How much drugs are coming up north and guns are going down south and then coming back up north. How to smuggle guns across the border. Apparently it's really easy to smuggle guns out of the United States. It's harder to smuggle them in. You know, like I'm saying that because the word guns is showing up. I'm sure I'm going to get caught up in some algorithm. I was wondering how, but yeah, I guess YouTube must somehow screen the videos for certain content, because I remember videos were getting flagged for talking about various things. Like I'm wondering if just the fact that I said that will cause any kind of issues with the video. I mean, I think like some of the channels I subscribe to, like that's literally what it is. It's a like Demolition Ranch is one of them. I watch it. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. It's not. There's nothing really. Most of it's just kind of nonsense, just testing the power of guns. But it's like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. It's enjoyable to watch. The guy's got a great personality. It's pretty funny. You keep seeing me do this. Like when I do that, I'm looking at the time, and with all that looking at the time, you would have thought I wouldn't have breached the second segment, third segment barrier, but I did. I want to talk more about movies. Like different people have different comfort movies, like kind of their go-to movies that they'll watch. Like a couple of them for me are, it's embarrassing to say, but like, well, Fight Club, I've already talked about that. Fight Club is a comfort movie for me when I just want to like zone out in front of the TV. I'll put on Fight Club. Another one is The Fifth Element, and it's probably just the kid in me. All the noise and the bright colors, just keep me entertained. It's like jiggling keys in front of me, like, but yeah, like it's not a like I'm not gonna I could have made it. I'm not gonna extol the virtues of The Fifth Element. It's there's all kinds of continuity errors and things like that, but it's just get lost in the it's not a space opera, obviously. It's a standalone movie, but it's it creates a like nice little, back to DMing, like I like it when it creates a like it creates a world. Like I don't think it intended to do that, but you can understand the world. When I say the world, not the planet, but the world, like the entire existence, like what's happening with the political structure of space and the different races, and like there's you can latch onto that. Like you can see other stories in your mind unfold in that environment, and I think that's part of what I like about The Fifth Element. Even though it's goofy and they portray like the government officials as being ridiculously inept, like a little too inept, but you can latch onto that. You can get a sense of political structures, of the plight of the common man. Like you can see all the different levels of society, and you can know that world to a certain degree. I probably am not making any sense to you whatsoever, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I watched the movie, but like, I've watched it a few times, so I'm not really watching the movie anymore. I'm like, just like picturing that, what is that? Picturing that world. Oh, you're just gonna keep back, and yeah, this is great. I don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm not gonna stop. I would have stopped if you kept going. But yeah, so Fight Club, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I don't know if we can start a class action lawsuit against that Heard person, but like I can't, because of all that stuff that happened in the news with Heard and Depp, and I'm not going to pick sides here. I'm not going to say who's at fault and who's not, but just that nonsense kind of ruined the Pirates of the Caribbean for me. Not the court case, just the fact that, like, the same reason Saturn is an auto dealership, and they, like, PR does a lot, and PR is probably part of the reason I liked the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I'm just one person, so I can't tell you whether or not it's a good series or not. I really, really enjoyed those movies, the whole series of Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But back to Saturn as a car company, their PR worked really good on me, and I was going to buy a Saturn. I was really interested in Saturn. Now that I'm a Subaru person, I will never not be a Subaru person, I don't think, unless I have some kind of like fun car. I said like either a luxury car or some kind of sporty number. But my daily driver is always going to be a Subaru. I love Subaru. They're paying me an ungodly sum of money to tell you that. Like, literally putting my kids through college just by saying. No, I'm kidding. But I do like Subaru. It's a good car. You got to be careful though. There are people that'll they'll have all-wheel drive all of a sudden, and they'll think that the car is invincible. Don't drive like a maniac. Get a Subaru to be safe. Don't get a Subaru to be a stunt driver. So all that happened, and then what happened with Disney and Depp, and like removing him and replacing him in the movies, it's just ruined the whole thing for me. Like, even if that doesn't happen now, like, just that thought can't exist in my head separately. What it does is it kind of breaks the fourth wall. So now I'm invested in the characters, but unfortunately the characters are now the people, because the people have been force-fed to me in real life, and I don't want actors and actresses being force-fed to me in real life. I don't care about what happens to them in the real world. I care about the I don't want people doing bad things to each other, but I don't like that paparazzi stuff. Like, I don't need to know every little aspect of what goes on in people's lives. They can resolve their stuff without me knowing about it. Like, they're just people. There's nothing special about them. They're actors and actresses. They have jobs that just put them in front of me. I enjoy watching them, but I don't want to know about their personal lives. I don't want to know what they go to court for and things like that. I don't, because you're never going to get the true story. The media is always going to have a spin, so it doesn't matter what you see, and I'm not going to invest emotionally in their personal lives. I just care about the movies they're in. That's it. They're entertainers. I like them for the job that they do, not what they do in their personal life. Mind you, if they do bad things, yes, then they should have whatever should happen to them. But I'm not going to be involved in that. But the problem is, now they've been force-fed to me. Now, like, I'm forced to have opinions based on what I know, and it just kind of ruined the whole thing for me. Like, I don't rewatch those. But anyway, Pirates of the Caribbean, those movies were a comfort movie for a while, but they're dead to me now. Oh, shoot. Have a wonderful day. Good morning. It's Thursday, the 25th of January, 2023. You are in the bonus track. Segment 3 ran into the bonus track. I am really not paying attention to time today. I don't know what's happening to me. I lost time getting out of the house. Track 2 bled into track 3. Track 3 bled into track 4. I'm out of control. I'm absolutely out of control. There's no way I'm getting through that light. So if you've been following this series of segments closely from today, you'll know that I got a late start on the road, and I'm sticking by my guns and taking the shorter in distance but longer in time path to work, thinking that I can make it. And it's a nail biter, I tells you. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. I definitely not, like, I'm going to be in the same situation I feel like I'm in every day. Like, I want to get in early to do my job. I shouldn't have to get in early and work for free to get to the point where I feel comfortable. But that's what I do. I do believe in being early to work. Like, most of the time, like I said, it's I feel like if you're working for a place, it's perfectly reasonable to expect you to be, like, at the time you're supposed to start working, be working. Have your coffee already, be caffeinated, be fed, and be working when the shift starts. I have no issue with that. I like to hedge my bets. I like to be already working by the time it's time to start. It just makes me feel better. I don't like being late. I think in the 17 or so years I've been with this version of the company, I've been late 3 times. Might be a couple more. Like I said, I generally try to get in early. When I lived 10 minutes from work, it was very easy. I was always like 45 minutes early. With the distance that I have to drive now, it's very difficult to be early. Like, lately, I don't know what's happening. I'm doing the same things every morning, but I do seem to be losing time here and there. Like, today is a perfect example. Like, I was making great time. Like, I was accomplishing the stuff. Like, I'm trying to think of, did I get distracted? Like, I actually did some things last night that should have shaved even more time off, but I ended up getting out of the house much later than I normally do, and I can't figure out where I lost, like, almost 15 minutes. Like, that's not an insignificant amount of time. Like, I actually had to abandon, I brought a lunch, but I had to abandon filling my lunch bag the way I normally do, with all the extra nonsense I throw in there. In fact, I thought of something I could have grabbed and thrown in there, because I ate my breakfast bar the other day. I like to have, even if I don't eat it, I like to have a breakfast bar in my lunch bag in case I get stuck in traffic on the way home or something. Just something to nosh on, like, kind of like a shock absorber, in case, like, I burn through all my lunch stuff but I'm still snacking it. Basically, to ensure that I don't buy garbage out of the vending machines and, like, do what I did the other day and eat an entire bag of Funyuns. Like, sometimes I have absolutely no self-control. Entire bag of Funyuns. They're tasty, but don't eat an entire bag of Funyuns. Bull. I have a cat. I have 4 cats. eye is irritated this morning. So my cat, one of my cats, the fattest of my cats, Pixie Diddle, something Pixie Bob. I think it's a Pixie Bob. It's a great big fat cat with a really short tail that vibrates. I don't think he's supposed to be fat. We overfeed him, or he overfeeds himself. It's typical fight, good against evil. No, there's 4 cats, so it's hard to give them each a special diet. So you always end up with one great big fatty. And Tubbs is the great big fatty. His name wasn't originally Tubbs. His name was originally Igor. We adopted him. He had been adopted out, and he was brought back by some family, and they made up some ridiculous story about him. All lies. They were just slandering his name. I think the real reason they brought him back was when he was younger, he used to smell terrible. When he would use the litter, it would clear the house. It was unbelievable. Like, you could see green fog. There were stink lines. It was unbelievable. So he was a very, very stinky kitty. That went away to some degree. But he has, like, I think just everybody says the same thing about their cats. Very, very strong personality. But recently, he does this thing. He sleeps with you. I am allergic to cats, by the way. But anyway, he sleeps with you. He sleeps in the crook of your knee or something like that. But in the middle of the night, I'm not going to start a song. In the middle of the night, if you disturb him in any way, he just suddenly becomes hyper needy. Like, he needs to be petted, he needs to be under the blankets, he needs to be out of the blankets. Like, if you stop petting him, he just starts meowing in your ear. I think he wants you to go downstairs and give him snacks. But it's just non-stop. And this is a relatively recent thing where he'll wake up in the middle of the night and just be super needy. And I can't afford that. I have to get up ridiculously early in the morning. So if he's suddenly active at 1 in the morning and won't leave you alone for an hour, that severely compromises the amount of sleep that I get. It's so cute though. But last night, he's doing that thing. He's like going crazy. And he just starts body slamming my face. He keeps getting next to me, like, just his whole body just keeps falling onto my eye. So now this eye is just like, you can't, I don't know if you can see it, but it's extremely irritated. That's not really showing up on camera, but it is extremely bloodshot from a frickin' cat being in my eye and falling on my eye multiple times to get my attention. I didn't cover this. So it's not the same thought. In the first segment, I was talking about YouTubers and like the amount of work that goes into maintaining a YouTube channel for them, like actual content creators. And one of the things I mentioned was, like, file moving and stuff like that. Like, I did start doing what I said. I don't know if I mentioned that in a segment. I don't think I did. Like, I started moving files off my phone onto the PC, putting them in a folder. That's when I was discussing the other day that I need a NAS. I need some kind of storage because I will very quickly fill my computer with these files. So I've got to come up with a solution. That's where I was talking about the expense and the time that people invested in these channels. Like, it's phenomenal. But I did start doing that. So 2 days worth. So which ended up being 5 videos because one of the last 2 videos, previous day's videos, which would have been, I guess, Monday and Tuesday. One of those days, the afternoon, I think it was Tuesday, the afternoon video, I don't even know now, but one of those days, the afternoon video was broken into 2 segments, so there's actually 2 videos from that day. So I've moved 5 of the videos from my phone to the PC, so it's time consuming. It takes upwards of a half an hour to move these full-size files from the PC, from the phone to the PC, not to mention the time it takes to get them to sync together. I have no idea what that's about, but in order to make that work, I literally have to unplug and replug the iPhone into my PC multiple times because it keeps failing to recognize the device. And it's an intermittent thing, and those kind of problems drive me crazy. If anyone knows a better way to do this, like I'm using the FireWire port in the back, I'm not using a USB port. I can try a USB today and see if that makes a difference. But what I'll do is when I get home today, I'll upload both videos and try to upload a previous day's video. So what I'm saying is it's so time consuming that I can only do a couple of videos a day, and I'm producing a couple of videos a day, so it's going to be difficult going backwards, and I'm going to run out of space. I'm going to run out of space very quickly because I'm producing videos every day, and then I'm uploading these videos plus the old videos to my PC, so I have the content so I can edit it. What's my point? Where am I going with this? Anyway, I'm doing that. Like, it ties back into the other thing I was talking about, where I'm giving myself tasks having to do with this channel that are kind of silly, since this is a non-channel, but I really have to. I'm going to have to come up with a solution for storage very quickly now, because I'm I would say in less than a month, I will be out of storage on my PC. So I definitely want to come up with an external storage before then. And oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is what's interesting is the afternoon videos. So these are both filmed on the same camera, like there's no difference in how I'm filming these. But the afternoon videos, even though they're about the same size, they are significantly smaller than the morning videos. What I was doing before is I was post-processing these. In the very beginning when I started this channel, the morning videos were the only ones that existed, and I was post-processing them, making them grainy and hard to see, just for privacy reasons. I didn't want you to see where I was. It doesn't really matter. And that, like, I think that was maybe making the files bigger, but I don't think that was it so much. It turns out that, like, the low light videos use a lot more data. Like, they're almost the morning videos are almost 3 times the size as the afternoon videos. They're the same length, but the afternoon videos are better lit. So for some reason, these darker videos take a lot more data than the well-lit videos. So I don't know what that's about. I'm going to have to look into it, but it really surprised me. So I'm wondering if I should get better lighting to do these videos so that they take up less data. I don't know how that works. Maybe because it's HD, it's just there's like multiple layers of black that they're going for. I don't know, but it surprised me. Literally the same length, about 3 times the data for the darker video as opposed to the lighter video, which you would think would have more things, but I don't know. I don't know. How are we looking for time? Still cutting it really close. I think I'm going to make it, but it's, again, just like the other day, we're making it right at the buzzer. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I drank my whole coffee. I squandered my coffee. I really need these lights to go my way. Thank you. going to try to upload this. The later in the day it is, the less likely this will upload quickly. But if this uploads before the end of the day and you see it today before 3:30, I'm going to look at the comments before I make the afternoon video. Let me know if anything you want me to either rehash or something new you would like me to talk about. It's the other reason I want to get here early. I eventually want to stop in there, although I don't see where it is. There used to be a pretzel factory in there. I think it's still in there. I just can't see it. Anyway, but yeah, let me know if there's something you would like me to, any topic. It doesn't have to have anything to do with this channel, anything I've already talked about. It doesn't have to do with anything I know. I'll do my best. I'll tell you whether or not I know absolutely nothing about it, and I'll ramble about it anyway. But yeah, in the comments, even if you don't see it today, just let me know. I'll eventually look at them. I do. Everyone says this on their videos, like, we look at all the comments. I look at all the comments. I get like, a couple a week. I got 1 subscriber, two channels, 1 subscriber. So when I say I look at all the comments, it's absolutely true, because it's easy. Like, of all the things in channel management, the easiest thing for me to do is look at all the comments. I haven't replied to them all because some of them don't necessarily require a reply, but I do try to construct a reply, or like if I can't think of anything to say, if I'm just like, I like the comment, I'll try to give it a thumbs up. But I think there's like maybe 8 or so, somewhere in the area of 8, plus or minus 8, where I haven't replied to the comment yet, but I've replied to comments around it. I believe at this point, except for 1 comment that I got on the other channel, whoa, that airplane's flying straight up. On the other channel a couple of years ago, and it was about the kaleidoscope video, but other than, what was I talking about? Other than that comment. Yeah, so I'm sorry, that's the only comment I think that is on my channel that isn't from my subscriber, and that's on the other channel anyway. So on this channel, I think the only comments on this channel are from my subscriber. I briefly had 2 subscribers, but I asked that second subscriber to knock it off. I think it's going to be pretty consistent, no matter when I get on the road, that there's going to be time for I said I don't want to say 4 twice. There's going to be time for 4 full segments in the morning, because we're right up against the hour and 20 minute mark. So we're like a minute and 2 seconds away. And we're reaching that part in the drive where I normally have to turn this off anyway, so I don't think there's any getting around, like, except when I take the highway. Like I said, that knocks about 15 minutes off my trip, so there would be no way to do unless I get caught in traffic, there's no way to knock the to do the 4th segment. I might do like a couple of minute bonus track, but yeah, it looks like I'm definitely going to have time for 4 20-minute segments every morning on my way in here. Since we're like less than 30 seconds away from the hour and 20 minute mark, I'm going to do that sign off. So have a wonderful day.